it's natural. I mean, it's a story inside.
Yes, exactly.
Cover it.
Yes.
This is the background.
Yes, exactly. I wanted it to be a story because there have been so many books that talk about Syria since everything happened in 2011, but it was more of like political books or nonfiction, and I wanted it to be a story because that is the closest, that's the fastest way to get to a person's heart is through a story. We all grew up with stories, and so I wanted it to be like that. I wanted to have a magical element and make it like not lessen the trauma that the people are going through, explaining it, writing it, but also show the life that happens, that human beings still persevere, and not to see Syrians as just the trauma, the pain that they're in, but more than that, as their whole lives, because they are. We see it every single day. We see it also with Ukraine, we see it with Palestine. People still continue to live, and that is the human spirit, and that should also be talked about.
Which was the main ingredient that made this book a successful one? Was it about the word, or was it about the skin of the book?
You give me too much credit. I would say this book touches on human emotion, and that is something we can all understand. We all understand.
But if I asked that guy, he liked about human emotions, he would try to talk about it. If you want to translate it, so that's why I'm talking about the skin.
I would say you're making me blush because I'm not good with compliments sometimes, but it is something that I had to work on. I would say the first version was not a very good book. It was very cheesy. It was 150,000 words. It was I was messing up present and past tense in the same sentence. Very bad things, but I'm very thankful for it. I'm very thankful for everything I've ever written before because it made me the person that I am now. I would say it did take skill because I wrote it for a whole year. So it took me a year to write. The more that I wrote, the more I could envision myself as Sarah. Like I would inhabit her body, I can see what she sees, and then when I'm done, I can like exercise myself from her. I would say it's just me getting to know these characters so well that I'm always thinking about like what is Sarah doing now, what's Sarah doing? They were always in my mind. And I think I was able to do it justice.
What about the cow? Is it here together now?
He's here. He was such a fascinating character to write in a way that because I wrote the book from the first person present tense, and that was intentional. So the reader can feel like they're also Sanama. But because they're Sanama, they can't know more than she knows. And as the author, I can't do that either. So I love going into each character and like to take it like in Arabic we say we just like put them to the bone, like we know their bone marrow. But I couldn't do that with Hope because if I know more, then I would be writing something subconsciously that Salama should not know.
Speaking of which,
Salama, I wanted to make it in a way that Salama, well, the question is, for every reader, do you think he's real? Did she break the fourth wall? Or is he just on a hallucination because of her PTSD? And that is like for every person to come up with their own answer. I mean, I don't know if I should say my own answer because there's something called the death of the author, as you know, so I can't be putting my opinions in readers' minds. But I had gotten the inspiration for him from my religion, from Islam. So we believe that everything has life, the trees, the sky, the ocean. And so I was thinking about abstract emotions. And so something that so many people have felt since the dawn of time. Maybe this is also real. And so this was my gateway to giving him like a flashback. He was actually the second character that I thought of after Cinema. And it was very interesting to write. Oh my god. But it's true, like I feel like every person has a hope for them. I think can I spoil the book?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So after, I feel like he does stay with her even after she goes to Germany, but in a different kind of way. It's not the same hope that she would have met in Syria.
I wanted to ask you about that, because I felt it when I read it. Zoulfa is a positive character in the end.
I would say, yeah. I mean, he's based also, being a scientific person, also based on your fear of flight, your fight or flight mode. And so that's the way he is in her, like he is pushing her to flee.
Either to stay
or
at some point, yeah, because, well, but she's encouraged. And by the way, it surprised me a lot when I learned that she was dead. Another way of expressing that this powerful emotion in the reader. I mean, when you read this, so what are your plans for the future?
I do have a second book contracted, so it's with my editors right now. I think they'll send me notes in 2 weeks. But it's different to Lemon Trees, but it's also equally emotional. So I wrote Lemon Trees as for the people to understand what's going on. It's also therapy for me because, as I said, like when you said survivor's guilt, that's what I had. I wanted to lessen that a bit, do something, feel like I have done something. And that's the same thing with this second book. It's more of, the thing is with the second book, I don't want to give out their names or the title of the book because it's all relevant to the story. It's something that's never been done before. I have not seen it before in books or in literature or in movies, the way that I'm doing it. And it's something that I wish I had when I was 14 years old. But that being said, as emotional as this book is, it's very close to my heart. I don't want to be writing only trauma my whole life or social justice
You
issues.
mentioned something in the interview, you saw about some dark academia.
I do have a dark academia book in mind. Oh my God, as a writer you would understand, sometimes you just get the idea, but you try to make it bigger and try to get the synopsis and it's not working. And that is something that I am struggling with. Dark academia needs big brain people, and I'm trying to make my brain do that as well.
Yeah, there is also content like.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah.
I mean, instead of Dorian Gray,
Yes.
you can go with Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, one of my favorite books. Like I just bought like a nice little edition for Alice in Wonderland, and I want to incorporate it into one of the stories that I'm thinking about.
You know what, Zoulfa, I followed your suggestion watching Hudson in the Sky.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Isn't it?
And I saw when they were on the rooftops.
Yes.
This was
The scene that
with
Canadians,
Canaan.
yeah.
Great. I mean, take inspiration from the sea. It's important for us. So, has your life changed since 2 years?
Yeah, so much. It's 180 degrees to what I was living before. I was, aside from so many readers knowing me, which is, again, huge honor. Oh my God. It's just that before I was like, what was I thinking of before? Like, what did I think of? Because now all I think about is like writing books, mostly like when Lemon Trees came, before Lemon Trees, like Lemon Trees. Now I'm like, what am I going to write next? Because
Do you feel any pressure on that? I mean,
yes, yeah, a bit. Because people tell you not to look at the negative reviews, and negative never really, I don't mind them because every person is entitled to their own opinion. But when I saw the huge success that Lemon Trees got, I was like, the pressure is on. So I hope it doesn't disappoint with the second book. I love it, and I think that would shine through my writing. People, I hope, would love it as
so
well.
your second book is not going to be about Syria, it's not going to be about pain and suffering?
It is. So I would say my main character, Salama has had it worse, but she comes a close second. So if Salama's pain is here, she's here. And it is, it deals with Islamophobia, it deals with a hate crime, and it deals also with hope. That's always been my message in my books.
First person?
It's also first person, yes. And it also has a magical element to it, which was so wonderful to write. It felt, I could see it in my mind like an animation movie. I describe things that are not supposed to be alive but are, and the way they would react to certain things within the story. It was one of my favorite part stories.
You know the world, at least here in the Western, they are inclined to read books that are very pragmatic. And they don't go for fantasy books. And I'm so sorry because I love this kind of genre, let's say. And this is the story.
Yes.
It's not about reflecting as you did in this. This is very, very painful, touchable. You see the people suffering there. It's a reality. But in fact, it's Castle in the Sky.
Exactly, yes. Because Castle in the Sky also had people who were suffering, but it was, at its heart was the magical element.
were 16 years old when the revolution happened.
Yes.
Yeah? And I understand that you are baffled that people in Europe didn't know much about that.
Yes, a lot.
And you, in a way, you're like, okay, I have to tell the people that what was there. And this is how it started.
Yes.
Then you said that maybe it's not too late to send a message.
Not never too late.
And I can't agree more with that. Because your writing is universal and timeless.
I've had, now that you say that, I've had so many readers come up to me from different backgrounds. I've had a reader from Ukraine tell me everything you wrote. I felt I was living with you. This happened. I had a doctor, a Syrian doctor who volunteered at a hospital in Syria. She was my talk show host as well. And she told me everything you wrote is what I saw happening in the hospitals. She's like, thank you so much for writing it because I could have never wrote about this. And so it broke boundaries. It broke boundaries between countries and languages. That it reached
Have you ever thought that this might be a message from above sent you to write this book?
Yes, I believe in fate. I believe in destiny. I believe that we make our choices, and whatever choices that make, I recognize in the book, like whatever choices that are already for me, this is what fate is. It's not something that you sit and, it comes to you. You have to work towards it. And so I do feel like, yes, it was my destiny to write this book from above. It was actually a surprise for me because I had originally wrote it for young adults. I wrote it for teenagers, 15 and older, because now schools are so different in Europe. You know, they have for example, in Germany, there's way more Syrian refugees in the class. And so if you see someone you don't know who they are, where they come from, you see things on the news that are not really correct. And so you bring these biases into the class. This creates a lot of issues and problems within society. And so this is why I wrote it for instance, but then it became not just for YA, it became for adults. And I've had people come to me, they're like, this is for my grandmother, can you please sign it for her? And so touching that it has transcended age as well. I mean, amazing.
Someone told me that the book is, you can feel like reading it when it was written by a woman.
No one has ever told me that. Yeah, but I don't mind it. Yeah.
But it's not. This is the voice inside.
Yeah.
I really don't care. There are books written by women, and you feel it.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't want to give examples.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I was talking to my friend about this, and I was like, I feel like I write to make a point, and I'm living to make a point. So it's very, it feels like a responsibility and too much because I can't. Sometimes I feel like I can't be myself because I have to make a point. For example, that I am not like the stereotypical, because the stereotypical Middle Eastern Muslim woman is a very, very wrong and very harmful ideology to have. And so I go out of my way to prove it that it's not. And it becomes exhausting because in the end, this is who I am. I'm making the point, but that's literally who I am. And so when I write these stories, you'll see it in the second book. That's why I don't want to give away the names and I don't want to talk about it that much because I am making a point with it. And it's because it becomes exhausting living in a world that just views you as oppressed and whatever other stuff that is going on. And so I feel like it is also my job to change that narrative, that hopefully in the future, other authors who are Muslim don't have to make a point. So I feel like this is my burden to bear, so others don't have to. But I hope that one day I reach a point where I don't have to do that. And this is what I'm doing. So I'm writing like an adult rom-com where social justice issues or stereotypes do not exist. And it's just fun. It's just fun and happy, and it's so therapeutic for me. Like you have no idea how nice it is to write just love and romance and funny misunderstandings like that are, I feel, as equally important as social justice books. Because when you just pigeonhole a group of people into one box, then it's unfair to them.
Limiting.
Exactly, it's limiting. So I'm trying to also not be that and just exist.
I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much.
Zoulfa, thank you for having you with us here at Ficțiunea. And it's also an honor to talk to a bestseller writer.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been so much fun. I love your questions. Thank you.